Hi, I'm Anthony from Sydney Backyard Veggies. We're in the first week of summer here in Sydney, and after the heavy rains we had on Friday, we've now just had a couple of days of really hot, humid weather here in my patch. The veggies are doing really well, but there's been an absolute explosion of weeds, and I'm starting to see the first signs of diseases going through my tomatoes and my cucumbers. This video is a recap of what I've been doing in my patch for the week ending 1st of December. Now that we're in December, it's time to start planning for my late season planting of tomatoes. I've just started this week my second planting of tomato seeds, and I've grown two varieties. I'm starting Farah, which is the tomato variety that I've been growing at the moment, and I'm also starting a new variety, which is a Roma variety called Tala, and I'm hoping to get 20 of those seedlings out in the patch. These seedlings were planted out about 2 days ago, and I just sit inside the house in a warm spot, and it should be germinating in 5 to 7 days. The idea is I have these tomatoes planted out in early January, and with the intent that they will be harvested in late March, early April. On the tomato front, I've been harvesting tomatoes daily, and I've been getting good loads every day. I've got close to 20 kilos in my house that's ripening, and I need to go and start making passata, which is something I'll be doing this week. Harvested these yesterday, and it's funny with the heat and the humidity, just amazing how quickly these tomatoes ripen, and I'm gonna have to come through this afternoon and just collect more of these tomatoes, take them off these plants. The Farah variety is still producing at the moment. It is taking a little bit longer to ripen, but what I am seeing is a lot of caterpillar damage, which I'm having to just ramp up the use of pyrethrum just to control those, and so far so good. A lot of the smaller ones have been attacked, but I am still getting some decent fruit off these, and looks like, as you can see, they're just slowly ripening just on here, and it looks like, yeah, I'll be collecting most of these off in about 3 or 4 weeks time as well. With the disease spread in the tomatoes, I have been heavily pruning, and you can see these back plants have all been pruned. They were spent anyway, so I'm happy just to let the rest of these fruit just ripen. I've cleared what I can. The outbreak has sort of been contained to these back 4 plants, and the rest of the plants seem okay, but I've given them one last spray of wettable sulfur, and I'm holding off right now. I'm planning these will be finished at the rate that they're going at the moment. In about 3 weeks time, these tomatoes will be out, and I'll be looking at potentially planting a new round of tomatoes in this location in about that early January time. And in addition to the slicing varieties of tomatoes that I've been harvesting, my cherry tomatoes are going gangbusters at the moment, and I've been harvesting a lot of fruit, and I actually harvested these yesterday, and they're just again continuing to ripen. As you can see with this trellis that I'm using for the tomatoes, the plants just waterfall over the top support. It's just an easier way to harvest these tomatoes. Over to my cucumbers, and I've just started harvesting the first of my cucumbers at the start of the week. End up getting 3 in my first harvest, but looking through the plants at the moment, and there are a lot of cucumbers that need to be harvested. As you can see, beautiful looking fruit. I need to go through and harvest the rest of them now, and I'll probably end up with a number, looking through them now, another 6 or 7, so great addition to the kitchen at the moment. One thing I'm going to have to be doing this week is adding the mesh across the top. These vines have now reached the top, and if I'm not careful, they'll start getting smashed. Even ones like this where they're just starting to outgrow, as you can just see there, outgrow that, and they're going sideways. So what I'll be doing is putting some fencing mesh over the top and let them grow through that, and hopefully I'll just lay on top of that, and I'll do that over the next few days. Over at my eggplant planting, and I have finally staked and fertilized these plants. I've got to add bamboo stakes in at about 1500 high, and I've tied the plants to them to make sure that they stay stable, especially as the fruit starts forming on these plants. They tend to get knocked over. I've added a bit of chicken manure pellets and also a handful of potash to each of the plants to really give them that fertilizer boost now that they are producing a lot of fruit. And I have treated them with wettable sulfur just to control the spider mites, and it seems to have done the trick. The new leaves seem to be forming okay, and I just feel like they're a bit more vibrant than what they were before. In terms of harvest, I've got to do some a quick harvest now, but I just wanted to show you what they look like, and actually quite a beautiful plant. That's my eggplant. This variety is called Monacasa. Been growing it for the 3rd year now, and it puts out a nice beautiful glossy eggplant. So got a few here to harvest, and they're coming in quite thick at the moment. So I'm going to harvest a few now, and I'll show you the final haul. Just finished harvesting those eggplants. I got 7 eggplants out of the patch at the moment. Really liking the way they look, and looking quite clean. And picking them a bit on the younger side is a lot better. They seem to do a lot better, especially when on the pallet. When you let them grow too big, they start becoming a bit more seedy, and it's not great for cooking. These will go to my mum's house, and she's going to be cooking with these, mostly making baba ganoush. Today, baba ganoush dip, eggplant dip. She makes a whole batch of them every week, and we use them. She gives them to us to use for dinners and snacks. Over at my second planting of corn, and before the big rains, I decided to come through and hill the soil around the plants, and what it does is it just gives them a lot more support. Thankfully, not many more have been knocked over or broken. This is now week 4 since these were planted. They do need a spray. I am getting disease pressure on them, and there we go. There's the little caterpillar that's been eating them. So they'll get a spray with pyrethrum this evening, just to make sure I stay on top of that damage. I've also gone and bought some new corn seeds to replace the Max variety that I'm having poor germination with. I've gone and bought a new variety called Senator, which is another commercial variety. I'm gonna give it a go. It's been the first time I've tried this one, and hopefully if it works as well as the Max, I'll be making this a regular in my patch. Got these seeds from Happy Valley Seeds, so if you are looking at seeds online, Happy Valley Seeds does have a good selection to choose from. With my bush beans, I decided to go out again and buy some new jade bush beans seeds to replace the ones that I had. Those ones were just getting too old and weren't germinating. Again, bought from Happy Valley Seeds. I got myself 400 grams. I think that should be enough to plant me up for the rest of this season, and hopefully they should be okay in the next season. I have planted out 3 rows, and I planted them out 2 days ago. Looking forward to seeing them germinate in about another 5 days time. That will take up the rest of this patch. Planted underneath the mango tree. I think this is a good location, not too much full sun. And eventually, as I start removing these older silver beet, they're still looking okay, but ones like this are starting to get a little bit worse for wear. I might get one more harvest out of these, and I will continue planting either cucumbers or beans in this location here. At the moment, but probably beans. Over at my zucchini plantings, and they're just starting to flower at the moment, so I have been doing a bit of hand pollinating and growing Lebanese style zucchinis, and as you can see, I'm just going to grow that for another day, and then I'll harvest that. Likewise, this one should be harvested tomorrow. We don't like to grow them too large. We stuff these zucchinis, and the order is for almost finger length zucchinis, nothing bigger than that. Still got a few more coming up. They've got 5 in this place. They're looking great. No evidence of mildew, but I am spraying, I am treating with wettable sulfur once every 2 weeks, and it seems to keep any of that damage at bay. And over to my south facing garden beds, and this is where I've planted more bologna beans, but I've also planted my lima beans here against this makeshift trellis, and they're just starting to vine up the structure. And I've got another lima bean plant here. Those are Madagascar beans, those two, and this is the lima bean. I have gone and just made a makeshift structure here using 3 meter high bamboo poles. Look, hopefully it holds up, using a steel picket to hold it in place, and a lot of cable ties. Once it does get to the top, I will come through and add another structure, bring it across, but it's going to be a nightmare trying to harvest it, but it's for something for me to deal with in January, February when that comes to that point. Next year I'll probably plan them out a bit better. For now, happy to see that they're doing okay. Over at my jalapenos, and the netting seems to be doing wonders for these plants. And if I bring you closer, you can just see how beautiful these jalapenos are. They're huge. Not as much as last season, but thankfully no sign of fruit flies yet. Got a couple. I've probably got a jar full. And I might be, you know, with jalapenos this large, generally you'll end up cooking them. I'll make jalapeno poppers out of them, and that's most likely what I'll do the majority of these. And over at my capsicum, and if I just bring you closer and I'll lift it, you can see the fruit is growing steadily. Yeah, really good size of my arm. Look, not as big as last year's. This variety isn't Harley, it's Agostini. This is a yellow fruiting variety. Looks like, yeah, this one had a grub in it, unfortunately. Even though I got it netted, it's got a grub. That's okay. Hopefully the most key important here is to make sure that I don't get fruit flies, and so I've got this fruit fly netting on it. Looking at hopefully harvesting this crop in about a month's time. Now that there's no issues with fruit flies with the netting, should be able to harvest this in about a week's time, 4 weeks time. Hopefully when I start going yellow, I'll see how we go. I'll keep you posted when I start harvesting these. Now that we're moving into the hot part of the year, I've actually planted a lot of my veggies that I want to do now. So most of the time I'll be working in my patches, be a lot of maintenance work, weeding, spraying, and making sure things are fertilized. What I am trying to start doing as soon as I get a bit of time and a bit of break in the weather, I've decided I'm going to extend the veggie patch. I'm going to take it another meter or 2 meters across to the swing set, and this here area is going to be where I grow my lettuces, my herbs, onions, carrots, and I feel that if I do this length here, always pretty much all the length all the way across to there, I will have a lot more opportunity to grow those winter greens and leaf lettuces and the like without taking up any space in the main bed for my summer crops, or my winter crops for that matter, my main veggies. So over the next few weeks I'll be starting to dig this. I'm hoping to have it all dug out by the end of the Christmas break. It actually takes a lot longer than you think to actually remove the soil, remove the grass, add the edging in and get it planted. So that's a job for this Christmas break. Along with digging up that new veggie patch area, I'm going to come and clean out the chicken pen and turn this all into a compost pile. This is all my lawn clippings, all my food scraps, everything comes in here. I've been collecting it over the last 6 months, and I've probably got in the order of a cube to 2 cubes worth of garden waste I need to compost. So this is a job for this week. I'm going to clean it all out. Got a few bags of horse manure and coffee grounds that are also going to be added into that compost pile. Hopefully it's ready just in time for cool season cropping, which is in about 2.5 months time. And with summer comes fruit trees, and I've got a lot of my fruit trees now that have flowered at their various stages of forming their fruit. Fig, it's been a great season for figs this year. This is actually the best I've seen my fig tree since I planted it 7 years ago. It is absolutely full of fruit this year. I am looking forward to a huge crop. This variety is the white variety. It doesn't go black, it stays red. The internals stay red, the fruit stays red, and we eat this fresh. Needs netting. I did have a lot of thrips earlier on, and I've sprayed that and controlled that. Just looking abundant of fruit. And I did pick the first early crop off it last week, so it was a nice thing to have. My mango tree, and the mango tree is actually doing okay. Like, as the fruit is starting to develop quite large. Yeah, I've got a fair few, and it's actually for some reason starting to reflower as well, but we'll see how they go. I might have to knock off some of these smaller ones because they're going to end up just being tiny. But as you can see, looking really well. Like, I did prune this tree, and I think the pruning really helped to, tip pruning almost, just to really just encourage it to put out bigger fruit. And done well. Happy how it looks. It does need a spray though. I'm just worried that the chocolate spot's going to come through the plant, so might give it a bit of spray with edible sulfur. I gave it a spray about 2 weeks ago, and we'll need to touch that up. And my dreaded avocado, full of flowers 3-4 months ago, not one piece of fruit. I am going to take the advice again. Yeah, I'm going to take the advice of some of you viewers who've suggested I should keep the tree but try to graft it next season. So having to think about it, I'm going to cut the tree right back in late summer and then graft some actual proper avocados to see if it produce. Well, I hope you enjoyed this update of what I've been doing in my patch. I hope it's been helpful for you when you're working in your garden. If you have any questions or would like some advice, please feel free to reach out to me on my socials, Instagram or TikTok, or please just add a comment to the bottom of this video and I will endeavor to respond. Thank you everyone for watching this garden update. I really appreciate all the support and I hope to see you in the next one.